Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of MotoGP 21 Career Mode. Now in today's episode we have the Catalunya test, which I decided to push into another episode just to save time. I didn't feel the need to make a whole episode for this because I didn't do a lot of testing with the second bike. You'll see here this is my fastest lap of the test. I just was a bit underwhelmed with it really. The bike was not great over a lap, but I decided to push it into the Saxon episode. Just start off with the intro as my lap from the test. The bike was just way slower. I found it really overheated the tyres a lot more aggressively than the bike that we won the race handily on the Sunday before. So I just said I'd include my lap just to show it off, but I didn't find anything better with this bike. It was much slower, completely made shit of the tyres. So instantly told Ducati that was the complete wrong way to continue in the way they were making the current bike, and that we should have no problems with that, as it is absolutely swiping the floor with the current championship. But we're coming in now to turn 10. You can just see it backing it in opposite lock. Nice bit of riding, but I actually was struggling to beat the AI with this. I just about topped the test, but it was just about 2 seconds slower. And same track temperature, same tyres. It just absolutely ate the tyres. I can't get over how much. I did a few more laps. This was just my fastest lap, but a lot of laps I made mistakes on just because I ate the tyres. Can't believe how bad of a tyre consumption. I was actually meant to be better tyre consumption, so they completely went the wrong way around with it. But you'll see here in a second, fast lap at 39.0, and we just choose the official bike because we just know that bike has a 37 in it pretty comfortably in the race. But we jump here to what would be the start of my qualifying lap in Q2. Get a big stoppy, and look at Marcus coming out of the pit. We have to set the bike up and we just miss him. I said I'd include that just before we start the lap, and yeah, here we are halfway around now though of my other lap in Q2. You can see we're on for a belter of a lap. It looks like it's going to spit down with a bit of rain, but it just looks like we're going to get away with it. Currently it's Jorge Martin in pole position with a 19.4. We are a good bit under. I'm surprised just there where I touched the gravel I didn't lose my lap. Usually they like to take a lap away in the last sector if you touch it, but up the line we come. We're in the 18s at 18.7, and that is definitely pole position. And there we are, 3 tenths ahead of Fabio, and Pecco's in third. Mark is in P4, which is interesting to see. But here we are. I'm just going to show off my setup before we start the race. A previous episode someone asked to see what setup I run, so I use this for every career mode episode. Don't change it at all, and I leave it completely stock. And you might notice there now I've gone with a soft front, and the only other person on the grid, you'll see in a second, to go with a soft front is the last man on the grid, Andrea Dovizioso. So it was recommended. I know for a fact I had to go to medium wear. I thought, look, the soft shouldn't be too bad. It's not a real heavy brake and you're on the side of the tyre. I was in my head, as like, it shouldn't be too bad. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. You'll see here how bad the soft front is as we get into this. It was a bad decision. We underfueled the bike a bit. It is absolutely throwing it down with rain. I'm delighted to see that though, but we get a massive bit of wheel spin, kick sideways, and Fabio gets a good launch. He's on me inside, we're basically side by side coming down into turn 1, and he really aggressively takes my line, pushes me up wide, and we get eaten by the pack early on in the first lap. So we're back to P3 behind Fabio and Francesco Bagnaia. There's a crash further back. Jorge Martin goes really hot into Omega. We just try and turn under Pecco, and we do. And we're back into P2 for now. It's going to be a long old race, 11 laps around here. At this point in the race I hadn't realised that I'd made a critical error with my front tyre, but we are not feeling too bad. I remember at the start of the race I was pretty excited for a wet race. I do like the wet race. It's a bit different, something slightly new. As we come down now into turn 8 for the first time, you can see there's a Jorge Martin behind us looking rapid. And even in the wet, the AI are stupidly fast through here. I just don't know how they can take that line through there. Every year they do it, especially in the lower classes, what I was noticing, but they're just able to go on the GP bike. So Jorge Martin gets the move done, up into P2 he goes. But you just might see a small chunk of my front left tyre, or the front left side, not front left tyre. The front side of my left is just starting to be eaten away. Pecco puts a nice aggressive move on him. We get a great exit out of final corner, up at a cross line. We just matched with 28.8. There's a nice little gap to the boys in front. Now I did know that soft would wear a bit quicker, so I said I'd just brake a bit gently in the race. I wasn't braking deep, I wasn't really pushing it. Just wanted to see what it was like, my pace like when I was kind of taking it easy. Big moment there at the rear sliding. But you see here, I think it's around lap 4, I started to push a bit in the front end and I completely overheated. It just absolutely goes on fire. So that is the key to the front soft, it just completely overheats. And when we're turning left here, we spend a lot of time. You can see even at full lean, I'm overheating the tyre. You'll see just there now, it just starts to creep up into the yellow. So even at lean angle, so we've had to completely, in the race, we had to change our lines, our riding style, all just to take the pressure off the edges of the front tyre. You see once again in there, we just get in hot and at full lean through here, with the rear end pumping, it just overheats. As soon as it overheats, you just start to take rubber off the edge of it. And through there, out onto the green, and we get a track limits. Now through the right-handers, we're pretty strong. It's these dangerous left-handers. Look how hot I got there when I just started to give it a bit of a squeeze, and already about a third of my tyre gone at the end of lap 2. So we are in the wars with our front tyre. Thankfully the rear is looking pretty good. The left still looks a bit warm, but we know we're going to spin it up and burn it. But at 26.5, our fastest lap, almost the bulk of half a second slower than Jorge Martin. And into turn 1 we come. Jorge Martin tucks the front. He was on such pace that he lost the front into turn 1. Just was any a bit hot. They like to take a late apex through that corner and brake just a bit deeper than I do. And I always feel like they are going to push the front. You can see once again there, just through Omega there at full lean, the front right of the tyre is just getting a bit too warm for my liking. So at this point I realised I'm going to have to change up my riding style or I will crash. It was as simple as that. And through there we have a big moment touching the curve. You can see Fabio, we're getting a bit raggedy there, trying to bring Fabio back to us. He's getting away a bit faster than I'd like. We're keeping Pecco at bay for now, but the Yamaha in front is just a bit too quick at the moment. At this point now I realise I'm definitely in trouble with my front and I really regretted it. You can see it once again, I got sat up by Pecco and we've half or we're gone on the front side, or the left side of the front I should say. So we have a look back in here. You see, as soon as I add a bit of brake and lean, tyre just spikes in temperature. So once again, I had to just think to myself, I'm going to have to sit here. I can't push for this whole race. We have a look into the final corner, but we know we do get good exits, so we just pick it up into a slipstream, just pull out nice and early, try and get the move done back into turn 1. You see, it's a second to Pecco, or to Fabio I should say. But Pecco just leaves a brake off once again and he just seizes around the outside, but we have to just use the edge grip and push around the outside. But then there's contact as we exit turn 1, so a bit of a war going on here between the Ducati, and it's about to get a lot hotter in a minute between the two of us. Fabio looks like he has the pace to take this one. The current world champion's had a shocking year so far, so this could be where he kickstarts off his campaign and goes on a nice run of form to bring himself back into the championship. But I doubt he's going to be a title contender with the pace this Ducati has and my teammates. But as we cut now to lap 5 into turn 1, and Fabio's done exactly what we did. We had to pick it up and go round him, and then we've small bit of contact then between ourselves and our teammates. So Fabio has done exactly the same as Jorge Martin did, just out wide, and it seems to be a bit of a river. And again, there's contact between me and Pecco. I'm sick of this. Horace, he punted me off the track. There's contact at Mugello. Now here he's contact. He is so aggressive on that Ducati. We cut here now to lap 6. I am completely overheating my front just to stay with him. I'm taking liberties. And at this point now, if I go to full lean, the front just tucks on me and I have to save it on my knee and the rear comes round. It's just a mess. We've half the race left and that's what my front tyre looks like. The rear is warm, but it's in the right temperature and it still gives me good grip. The front is just like chewing gum. It's a sponge. And I am in real bother at the moment, and I'm just about hanging on to my teammate. There is sectors I'm stronger, there's sectors where he's stronger. Mark is up into P3, so he's showing off once again why he's the king of Sachsenring, pulling a good weekend out of the German track. But we get a good exit out of the final corner this time around. Into the slipstream we go. We're just going to dip to the outside, but we brake nice and early. Pecco brakes late, just like Jorge Martin, and Fabio, they go wide, but he doesn't lose the front this time. So I'm pretty decent in certain corners. It's the long lefts. It's just so into this corner here, Omega turn 3 on the right. I take a much tighter line than Pecco. And we just merge here at the apex, and again there's contact. And we slide around the outside, but as soon as we hit full lean, just watch the bike now start to get a little wiggle on mid corner. Just there, like you can see, it's pumping. And that is killing the rest of the tyre grip that we've left. I'd say by lap 8 we're going to have no front. You can just see a sliver left on the left side. And it's permanently now a bit too hot the whole time. I can't really get the temperatures back down. The pace is just a bit too stressing of my tyres. So we managed to just put Pecco behind us again for a small bit. I do expect an attack. And here we go again. I have to sit up and give him room because he's planted himself. And down the waterfall, which is a genuine waterfall today, so it is absolutely pissing it down. But Pecco once again gets us back. We have a look to the outside, but we just decided to brake nice and early. Give him the position. He is absolutely having a mad time going into turn 12, Saxon curve, having the back end all moving around. And we catch him into the final corner. Now we take a much better line in, and then we get much better exit. We just pick it up and look at the way the traction, the electronics kick in, and we get such good drive. This time we decide to go to the inside and cut across his nose to let him know that we're Ducati's #1 in this war. Once again, he has a look, and this time we're the ones that actually run it wide, and he takes us back. So he broke a bit early that time, we broke slightly late, and he gets his position back. So we're having a tough old battle here. We don't have the tyres really to compete with him, but it is lap 8. The left side is gone, so through the lefts I'm pretty dreadful at the moment. I have zero confidence, but we come down the waterfall again. We get a great exit. We just go to the outside of him, small bit of contact, and we have a look, but again he's pretty good on the brake. You can see how much he's fishtailing though. The engine brake and kicking in and pulling the bike back and just starting to squirm underneath him, but his front end looks stable, and I can't say the same about my own. We come in now to the final corner for the one of the last few times, but again look at the exit we get out of him. So we're going to get him into turn 1, I reckon, this time around. Mark is still there or thereabouts in P3, but looking again, he's the demon on the brake. But we're going to just turn it tighter. We can kind of push it in the right handers, and that is into P1. And we have a big moment, big slide, but we just managed to close the door. But again through the left, is he going to take it back into the right? Yes, he is. We sit him up again. He just picks us up. Very aggressive riding toward your teammate, and we actually just giving it back to him there, give another side to it, and he pushes me wide again. This is an absolute war between us. These two guys at the moment aren't getting on. I'm having a terrible time with my teammate. He doesn't like the fact that I came into his team and I've shook it up by taking his bike and making it into an absolute world beater, and now that I'm beating him on it, he doesn't like it and he's roughing me up as much as he can. To be fair, he's doing a good job though. But I think he's actually helping me by having this real aggressive battle, because I reckon if he got his head down he could probably clear off, but I keep repassing him, and that's affecting his pace. And now we come down the waterfall, we get a good drive through turn 11, we just go onto the curb again, we're almost alongside him, have a look on the braking, but once again into this corner here, it is pretty much, if we brake we will crash, so we have to take it very gentle through Saxon curve. Now we're on to the penultimate lap here after this corner. Out of the final corner, you can see how well it just picks up. But we must make a move now and get it to stick, because we keep passing him and then losing position once again. And look how aggressive he goes to the inside, but maybe he's just overdone it. But we have small contact with his rear and we had to pick the bike up, or we would have been out of the race. We've yet to have a DNF this race, and I think that is the key to why we're leading this championship. We have a look into Omega, we take such a tight line, we have plenty of grip on the right, it overheats a lot but does grip, and we have lots of rear grip, so that is the lead once again on lap 10 out of 11. But just again, we're not a full lean through turn 5 and 6, and just allows him just to turn and meet me. We just carried a touch more speed than I would have liked into that corner, and I couldn't lean the bike in, and that was it. He was back into lead, but we go to the outside, we come down to turn 8, right out to the curb, switch to the inside though, and we just pick him up, and we again more contact. We are having an absolute war with this guy, I keep saying it, but again he cuts back, and we're going to cut back on him. We're going to try and line him up for the end of the waterfall. We take a wide exit, just so we can cut underneath him. Look at the drive, we get down the waterfall, and we have the lead coming into Saxon curve, but we break a bit early, and look how aggressive he is. He's completely out of control, but he gets the move done, in fairness to him. Wild riding from Francesca Bagnaia, and again we've on the grass as we start the final lap of this classic German Grand Prix, the best race of the season between the two of us. We had great racing already, and this one has been a brilliant one in the rain. Marquez is still there in case it doesn't happen for either of us if we end up in the gravel, but he runs wide into one. We cut to the inside, but he's just going to have the inside for two. We can't tip in as well as he can. He can really throw the bike onto his knee where we gently have to place it. But again, our strong point, carrying the corner speed through turn 2 into 3 and then up the hill in Omega. We just need to park it now through this sector if we can. But again, look how close he is, and we actually thought he was going for the move, so he sat up, and that is him through once again. The front had a bit of a bobble. I saw him there, I just said I'd give it to him instead of crashing. But now look how close we are to the back from him. Once again we try around the outside as we come down to turn 8. But we just brake a bit earlier, try and carry in a bit more corner speed on the left handers, which is risky with my front tyre. But again, there's contact. Once again we've collided with him. And then we run a wide and we get a track limits warning. I expected, but we didn't get it. He fires it back underneath us, and once again we're in the exact same position. We get great drive down the waterfall. We go to the inside this time to try and brake him, but we can't brake later than him into this corner. Just don't have the tyres. It's the final lap, the final corner. We've banged bars every corner of this race. I'm going to have to leave the brakes off into the final corner. I've just about picked him up, running wide. It's all about the exit now. We just square off again. There's contact. Who has it? I think it's me for now, and it is victory. That was something else. That was such a look at the gap. Absolutely nothing. A bit of a fairing was just sticking forward. That was it. There was nothing in it. Look at our lap times, almost identical as well. Luca Marini at the last lap took the fastest lap from Jorge Martin. Miller ended up in 21st. He must have been the one that crashed on the lap. So now the gap grows to 32 points to Pecco, who jumps into second. And we have a 200 point lead plus over Suzuki in the teams championship. And in the constructors, we are walking away with that one as well. But today has been such a good episode for us and the Ducati boys. 88 points in the constructors. And here we are on the podium. We enjoyed that one. That was one of the classic races. What an absolute result that is. Because I had the bad tyre. And I knew early on that I was in trouble. And I was kind of concerned I'd lose a podium. But we managed to keep it. Gigi Linea there, absolutely over the moon with another Ducati 1-2. High fives from Linea. Whew, that was a rough race. That was so tough. We jump here now to the Moto2 boys, a P13 and a P23. So slightly difficult results for us in the wet. As we move on in a second now to the Moto3, can we have another victory for our boys in the Moto3 class? It would be brilliant if we could. But I'd say just the Moto2 boys were slightly underperforming in the wet. I think we had a wet race as well in Portimao and they both underperformed. But as we fast forward now to Moto3, another will from Rizal. Qualified second, wins it. Hernandez qualified 5th, comes home in P4. Brilliant result for him. I'm delighted with the way the championship is going in Moto3. We are absolutely killing it. All down to the Honda and my boys. And we get an upgrade once again from Ducati. So we have the max factory upgrade now. We have the 3rd HQ level upgrade. So we are absolutely flying it at the moment. But I am going to leave it there. Hope you have enjoyed today's episode. It was an absolute blast playing that. And I really enjoyed the battle with Pecco. It was so tight. I was walking on tightrope all that race. Could I push hard to try and pass them? Or did I have to hold my pace? And there was a balancing act the whole way through it. But I'm going to leave there. Hope you have enjoyed. And I shall see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.